Welcome to Financial Strategies with Andrew and Daniel Adjemi, powered by the Retirement Income Store and brought to you by Adjemi Financial Strategies in Guilford, Connecticut and Denver, Colorado.
What every retiree dreams of and deserves is a guaranteed maximum income that will last the rest of their life. One of the greatest mistakes they make is to fail to turn from accumulation to distribution at the right time. Social Security will count for about 40% on average of what you need to live in retirement. The other 60% will come from pension and other personal savings like 401ks and that sort of thing. I'm Andrew Adjemi.
I'm Daniel Adjemi, and you're listening to Financial Strategies. Today, we're talking about the three-legged stool of retirement and some practical steps that retirees can take, or pre-retirees, people who are serious about their retirements, to make sure that they don't outlive their money. That's a wonderful thing that I think sometimes people, the general public, investors, retirees forget about, and that is to have those income streams so that they can be confident in their retirements.
Exactly. And with that, when we're talking about the, today's title and of the show is the three-legged stool of retirement. And those three legs that people prop their retirement up on are Social Security, any pensions that they may receive, and other savings such as 401ks and Roth IRAs and anything else that they have along those lines. And the combination of those things are what helps people to have what they need to make sure that they don't outlive their money. Now, one of the things that people oftentimes don't realize, because they only retire once most of the time, is that
hopefully, right?
Yeah, exactly. I don't want people to retire from being retired. That's for sure. Yeah. But one of the things that people need to be able to do is to be able to understand that when you retire, it's not that you need 500,000, $1 million, $3 million, because you're not going to go spend all that money. What you need is an income that will replace the income that you've been receiving. And many times you use that 500, that million, that 3 million, whatever it is, to replace that income in some form or fashion. And we're always talking about that on this show. But the key is making sure that you have the income that you need to be able to live the rest of your life. And if you have the income that you need, well, then you can determine, and we're going to talk about this in today's show, is if you have all the income you need from, let's say, Social Security and your pension, well, then you can invest your personal savings, 401k, IRAs, Roth IRAs, that kind of thing, differently in to prepare you for that and to be able to be there in the future for you from that standpoint. So this is very important information for you to be able to hear and understand today. I'd like to start by talking about Social Security, and the aspect behind Social Security is that it is a guaranteed income that guaranteed by the government that you'll be able to have that the rest of your life. Depending if you're married or have been married for 10 years or longer, depends what kind of benefits that you'll be able to get, depending when as well. There are variables associated with when you were born. If you're born in 1954 before, you may have some options that people born after 1954 do not have when it comes to coordinating spousal or ex-spousal incomes from Social Security on that front. This is something that people depend upon. For to depend only and solely upon Social Security is something that is not recommended because diversification is important. You never know what's going to happen with Social Security. I mean, right now, without any changes to Social Security, and we know we need to change Social Security, but without any changes, it looks like in the year 2034 that you'll be able to depend upon about 80% of your Social Security. So if you're receiving $2,000 a month in the year 2034, that may go down to $1,500, $1,600 a month, that kind of thing, to be able to give you Social Security. So you we have to be aware of the options and the changes and the things that are available to you with Social Security. There's some key aspects to be able to keep in mind when you're looking at Social Security, to be able to maximize the Social Security that you get, because you depending upon your income, if you're making less than $19,000 a year, you can start collecting Social Security at 62 years old. Full Social Security is available at your full retirement age, or FRA, which, depending when you were born, if you're born 1960 or later, it's going to be 67 years old. If you're born before 1960, it's not, it's younger than 67. Um, and you can wait until 70 years old before you have to take it to get a maximum amount. And depending if you're born 1960 or later, that amount at 70 would be 25% more, basically 20-30% more than what your income would be at FRA, full retirement age. Very important things to be able to understand as far as Social Security goes, and be able to take into consideration. I want to let you know that you're listening to Financial Strategies with Andrew and Daniel Adjemi. Today we have a companion piece that goes along with our show. Our show is called Threelegged Stool of Retirement, and a piece that goes along with it that we're giving out to you if you call 800-725-7616 is Understanding and Maximizing Your Social Security Benefits. Also, if you'd like to know more about Social Security, you can listen to our podcast on Social Security at anywhere that you listen to podcasts. And that will give you a little bit more feedback. Today, we're trying to hit upon those three legs of the retirement stool: Social Security, pensions, and your personal savings, which create the money that you need to live the rest of your life and enjoy your retirement. If you want that companion piece, ask for it for the Maximizing Social Security Benefits. Call 800-725-7616. Daniel, Social Security is an important part of planning for retirement. There's just so much. There's many different things about Social Security that people know and people don't know. I know that I know a lot about Social Security, and I do a lot of teaching on Social Security. But I want to give you an opportunity to add things in regard to this from that perspective.
Well, the show is called Financial Strategies because that's what we're all about. We're about building strategies to be able to help retirees have a dependable retirement. That's what we exist for. We're always learning, trying to get better. We have a different perspective, a very optimistic perspective. We had a different perspective of what's happening in the world, how the world is changing, and how retirees especially can take advantage of things that are happening in the world. You have to look differently than what everybody else is doing if you want to succeed in life as well as in retirement. And so we're not stock pickers. We're not, this isn't a show to tell you the next hot thing to buy. Maybe once in a while we'll throw something out like that when we see an opportunity you have to grab. But we're about strategies, about trying to make it not, this week and next week, not buying the hot thing, jumping on the bandwagon of something that's moving up, but to last 30 years, 40 years in retirement, because that's what a good retirement looks like. And so when you're talking about the three-legged stool, each of those legs is vital, because if you have a two-legged stool, you better be a really good balancer because you're going to fall over otherwise. And so if you have one-legged stool, so you need those three posts of diversification. And so Social Security is set up to be what, 40% of somebody's retirement income. It wasn't supposed to be the all, however that saying goes. It wasn't supposed to be all. Yeah, exactly. Your full retirement benefit. That's not what it was ever designed to do. And so this is something you can utilize and tie in, and hopefully we can get into this today, tie in with those other, which would be pensions and your personal retirement savings, money you've put away. But Social Security can be used in conjunction with those other things. And what investors need to look at is, when should I start taking it? This is a really important question. When should I start taking it? Do I start it earlier, when I'm 65 maybe, so that I can collect for longer? Or does it make sense to get the larger payment at 70? And that depends a lot upon how much people have saved up, how much other assets they have, and how much those other assets can do for them. Also, are those other money, like if you have a pension, should you be looking at, does that have a cost of living adjustment? Because it may make sense to start that sooner if it doesn't, and wait for Social Security, because Social Security does have that cost of living adjustment.
Yeah, when we're planning people's retirements and they're asking me when to take out Social Security, well, number one, we have a analysis, a Social Security analysis that allows us to run 4 or 5 different scenarios at different ages, to be able to see where people can get the most money for from their Social Security. And I'm actually later today, I'm going to be after we record the show, I'm going to be talking to somebody about that. And then my preparation for the meeting, we ran some different scenarios, and it looks like in their case that it would be most beneficial for the wife to take her Social Security at 62, and then the husband to wait until 70 years old to take his Social Security, and they will get a lot of bang for their buck, depending upon how long they both shall live from that standpoint. But
those analyses are really important, because there's over 560 ways to take that. And so not only is mixing these with the other legs of the stool important, but just the different scenarios on how to take it from Social Security is super, super important for people to know. So there are over 560 ways to take Social Security. So those analyses can be really important. But I know you talk to a ton of people about Social Security, right? And you hear often, I didn't know that was a thing with Social Security, right?
Right.
So can you cover some of those things so people have practical things that they know they should be looking for?
Yeah, that's great. And let's but I see this coming up, time for us to take a break, and we'll hit that when we get back from break, as well as talking about pensions and personal savings for the rest of the show. You're listening to Financial Strategies with Andrew Daniel Adjemi. Today's show, the Three-Legged Stool of Retirement. As a matter of fact, I just mentioned a Social Security analysis. If you would like the Social Security analysis, or if you'd like the piece that goes along with today's show, understanding and maximizing your Social Security benefits, call us at 800-725-7616. 800-725-7616. Ask for the Social Security analysis, and we'll arrange to be able to put that together for you at no obligation and no charge. And we'll also send you that understanding and maximize Social Security benefits if you'd like that. Today's topic is the Three-Legged Stool of Retirement, and we'll be right back after this.
I'm David Scranton, founder of the Retirement Income Store. If you're in or near retirement, are you certain you have the right retirement plan in place? Do you want to help ensure your nest egg will last you all throughout retirement? Take our retirement review quiz and find out in 5 minutes or less if you're doing everything you can to achieve a more successful retirement.
Visit us online at adjemi.com. That's AGEMY.com.